The Super Mario movie finally released to massive praise and love from fans and not critics. The movie broke all records, having the highest grossing opening week of every animated movie ever and being estimated to maybe even become the highest grossing animated movie in general. And I mean, yes, please, we cannot let that seat be taken by the worst out of the worst type of Disney movie. Ugh. And yes, I also loved watching it. I watched it 2 times in its release week. Once in German and once in English to be able to take in the amazing performances of Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, I love you, and that funny guy from that meme people use when they are excited about something on Twitter. And I have to admit, they all did a pretty good job. Most seemed to enjoy the performances, except for the performance of Cranky. Apparently I belong to a dying breed of people that actually thought he fitted the character. Even Chris Pratt was totally fine. The voice fit way better than expected. Even though I'd still prefer Charles Martinet. And don't come at me with that non-argument of, would you really want 90 minutes of that Super Mario voice? No, they could easily have done the same thing they already did with Chris Pratt. Make him do the fake accent at the start and then just use his normal voice. Because, I know, this might shock you, but Charles Martinet normally doesn't sound like Mario. He sounds more like a millennium-year-old dragon. But overall, Chris Pratt was good. The trailers definitely did him dirty. I also think that this is probably the best-looking Illumination movie. It's ridiculously colorful and just a joy to watch from its animation and even the jokes. But don't take my word on that. I still laugh at fart jokes, so my opinion is invalid anyways. But there was one thing with the movie that massively bothered me, and it was Bowser. And I'm not even talking about the performance, no, that was perfect. I'm also not talking about the animation, or the way he looked. No, that was also outstanding. I'm talking about Bowser having massive depression over the runtime of the entire movie. And I know what you're thinking, what the hell are you even talking about? Bowser is just a mean big turtle, he doesn't have depression. And he definitely seems like that on the outside. But if you look underneath the shell, the cracks start to show. During my first viewing, I only started to slowly realize it right at the end of the movie, during the final fight between Mario and Bowser, where Bowser gets massively upset about Mario ruining his wedding and saying, I was finally going to be happy. I am going to make you suffer as I have. I was finally going to be happy. Does that mean he never was before? Why is he so unhappy? He's the evil king of the Koopas. He has a massive army that would do everything for him. But I think that's exactly it. Being on top of everyone else can be extremely lonely. He probably doesn't have any real friends. Everyone he knows either fears him or works under him. Because they fear him. Even the person closest to him, Kamek, seems to be more of an obedient servant than anything close to a friend. And that's the person that raised him. At least, if the movie universe is taking Yoshi's Island into consideration. And because we saw Baby Mario and Luigi, I'm just gonna say it is, so yeah. Kamek is actually a pretty good point. Because we are able to see another side of Bowser once they two are alone. In front of his minions and others, he does his best to keep up a strong facade and hide his true feelings. But as soon as they are alone, Bowser becomes more insecure and vulnerable. He even asks Kamek for flirting advice. And things like this are noticeable in basically every scene with Bowser. How he is just deeply unhappy and is coping with this sadness by telling himself that all he needs to be happy is a beautiful woman that he can marry. He even has his own form of escapism. Some have movies, some have video games. We even see Mario himself cope with the lack of support of his own father by playing Kid Icarus. And Bowser, he plays piano and sings about the person he loves, imagining the world he wants to live in instead of the one he actually does. Bitches, 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 bitches. And when he gets confronted with the possibility of this wish not being realistic, he reacts the only way he knows. He gets angry and violent. He even goes as far as to burn his own people alive for just bringing up the possibility. They actually showed this insecure side of his pretty early in the movie. After the Shy Guys capture Luigi, Bowser interrogates him to find out more about Mario and how he's trying to help Peach defeat him. And what does he ask? He doesn't care about Mario being stronger than him, smarter, faster, no. He asks, do princesses find him attractive? He well knows that Peach isn't interested in him. He even knows that she hates him. But his insecurities and fears instantly came to the forefront the second someone else came into the picture that had the slightest possibility of actually being able to make Peach fall for them. Even after he actually conjured up the courage to ask Peach, he threatens her with the ultimatum of marrying him or her kingdom getting destroyed. Because he is at a point where he doesn't care anymore. His own sadness made him so blinded and selfish that everyone else doesn't matter anymore. He even was shocked about Peach rejecting him at the altar, like he actually expected her to suddenly be happy about being forced into this relationship. If he's happy, everyone else should also be happy, right? This is what being fatherless does to a motherfucker. The longer I listen to myself, the more I think my description of Bowser lets him sound like an incel. Anyways, am I interpreting too much into a children's movie from the Minions people? Yes.